Hello everyone, welcome back. In this lecture we are going to study the principal stresses. So in general, a object may be acted upon by direct stresses and shear stresses simultaneously. However, it will be seen that even in such a complex system of loading, there exist three mutually perpendicular planes on each of which the resultant stress is purely normal. These are known as principal planes, and normal stress across these planes as principal stresses. The larger of two stress, sigma 1, is called as major principal stress and smaller one as minor principal stress. The corresponding plane are known as major and minor principal planes. In two-dimensional system, the third principal stress is taken to be 0. So, we can say sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2 and sigma 3, and in 2D system the third stress is taken to be as 0, and this is major principal stress and major principal stress, and this is minor principal stress. So, and plane associated with these two stresses are known as major principal plane and minor principal plane. So, as we know that the shear stress is 0 at principal plane, and shear stress is given by this expression tau theta is equal to minus 1 by 2 sigma x minus sigma y sine 2 theta plus tau cos 2 theta is equal to 0. This is 0 in the principal plane, so we can equate it with 0. So, if we solve this, we will get 1 by 2 sigma x minus sigma y sine 2 theta is equal to tau cos 2 theta. If further we will simplify it, we will get tan 2 theta is equal to 2 tau over sigma x minus sigma y. So, this 2 theta will give us a location of principal plane. In the plane inclined with these values of theta will have 0 shear stress. So, now as we discussed, this equation will provide us the two values of 2 theta differing with 180 degree, or we can say two values. This will provide us two values of theta differing with 90 degrees. So, two planes, first will be inclined at theta 1 and second will be inclined at theta 1 plus 90 degree. So, we can say two principal planes will be perpendicular to each other. So, if we construct a triangle using this formula, so that will be something like this. This angle is 2 theta and perpendicular is 2 tau, and this base is sigma x minus sigma y. So, we can say this hypotenuse can be given by sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau whole square and square root of this whole. So, from here, if we want to find out the value of sine 2 theta using this triangle, if we want to find out the value of sine 2 theta, then that will be sine 2 theta is equal to perpendicular over hypotenuse. So, perpendicular is 2 tau and hypotenuse is sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau whole square square root. So, we can write sine 2 theta is equal to 2 tau over sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau whole square square root, and cos 2 theta is equal to, as we know that the cos is equal to base over hypotenuse. So, this would be plus minus sigma x minus sigma y over sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau whole square square root. We can see from these formulas the right hand side of both of the two equations should have the same sign, positive or negative, while using them. Now, we can substitute these values of sine 2 theta and cos 2 theta in the formula of sigma theta. So, as we know that the sigma theta is equal to 1 by 2 sigma x plus sigma y. This formula we know from our last lecture. So this is 1 by 2 sigma x minus sigma y cos 2 theta plus tau sin 2 theta. So if we put the values of cos 2 theta and sin 2 theta, then this will be 1 by 2 sigma x plus sigma y plus minus 1 by 2 sigma x minus sigma y whole square, because this is the expression for cos 2 theta. So sigma x minus sigma y was already there, then this becomes sigma x minus sigma y whole square over sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau whole square root, and this becomes plus minus tau multiplied by 2 tau over sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau whole square root. So if we solve this, then we'll have, if we simplify this, we'll have two values, 1 by 2 sigma x plus sigma y plus minus 1 by 2 sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau square over sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 2 tau whole square, and this is square root of this one. This is multiplied by 2 because we put 1 by 2 here, so this becomes 4 tau square. So now if we solve this, we'll get 1 by 2 sigma x plus sigma y plus minus 1 by 2 square root sigma x minus sigma y whole square plus 4 tau square. So if we take the plus sign, then we'll get the value of sigma 1, and if we take the minus sign, then we'll get the value of sigma 2. So this expression will give us the two values of sigma, or these two values will be associated with two principal planes. So these values of sigma known as principal stresses. So this expression will give us the principal stress. Here this is sigma x and sigma y, and this is tau. Again, in this formula we have to use the sigma with its sign. If the sigma or direct stress is compressive, then we have to put here that particular stress with sign. So this will give us the two values of principal stresses. Unless it is possible to know by inspection which of these two principal planes corresponds to major principal stress, so it is necessary to substitute one of the value of theta, inclination of principal planes, into the equation. So to know the value of direct stress which is associated with particular plane, we have to use sigma theta formula. So if we put the value of theta in that particular formula, then we'll get the one value of sigma 1 or sigma 2, so we can identify the associated plane with the major principal stress and minor principal stress. So to find which of two values of angle corresponding to major principal stress, we have to use the formula of sigma theta, which is already we know the formula of sigma theta. So we can put the value of theta to find out the particular plane associated with particular stress. So in the next lecture, we'll discuss about the principal shear stress or maximum shear stress. So thank you.